Hello everyone and thank you for joining me. Today I will be drawing with a Jinhao 58. It is a similar fountain pen like Jinhao 62 that I previously looked at. It just has a few slightly differences, enough that the parts are not actually interchangeable between the pens, well, with the exception of the converter that comes included with it. I have to admit, I kind of like this version probably a little bit better. The clip that comes on the cap makes the pen look a little bit more stylish. And the accents that you have on it makes it look a little bit better than the other one, in my own opinion. However, they both do the job pretty well. In the 58's case, the cap is actually a twist cap, it's not a push-pull cap. The clip is actually pretty stiff but fairly usable. And the other difference is that this section has a more tripod-like looking slash lamy safari kind of a look, plus similar nib as basically lamy safari. My pen came with the extra fine, or better said, I choose an extra fine nib. And yeah, it's a pretty good looking pen in my opinion. It does come with a converter included, but it's actually a pretty good, decent converter with a decent amount of ink. No ball inside of it. Oh, and the other difference is that this one came with an O-ring for the barrel included. Balance-wise, it's actually pretty good, straight in the middle of it. Fits nicely in hand. And it does post. A little bit shallow, but pretty secure. Makes the pen pretty long. Should be actually pretty cool for drawing. And the balance posted shifts a little bit, but still overall towards the middle of the pen. Not a bad pen, I like it. I haven't used it yet. I assume it will work pretty much similar with the 62 version, but I guess there's only one way to find out. So let me do a quick writing sample and then I'll jump into a drawing. As ink for today, I will be using an ink from Platinum. This is something that I recently discovered and I wasn't really aware that they're making. The blue black, which seems to be a permanent ink, is basically a water dye based ink. So now I have a pretty nice collection of black, sepia and blue black from Platinum, of inks that in theory should be waterproof, I think, maybe. I hope so. I didn't try that, but I'll go with that theory. If you have this ink and you know it's waterproof, please let me know. Writing wise, wow, I have to admit this copy that I have writes beautifully. Even though it's an extra fine nib, the nib is fairly juicy actually. And the other beautiful part is that he actually writes on the reverse even slightly thinner than on the normal side. It does scratch a little bit, but in an essence that it makes more noise, but not necessarily digs into paper. So overall, writing wise, I love the pen. And no skips even when I do the quick flourishing lines at the end there. Absolutely no issues. Super pleased with how it writes. And like I mentioned, it does post, so It works. I don't find it that top heavy, but you will feel it, especially if probably you have smaller hands, because there is some metal in that cap, so it brings a little bit of weight to it. Personally, I like that. However, I will have to admit that if I write only, I will probably write with it uncapped. But if I draw with it, 100% I will have it posted, not capped, posted. And going into the drawing, you've seen while in the time lapse quickly showing a few pages in this notebook or sketchbook that I'm using today, which has like a tone paper, cream paper, I guess. This is the sketchbook that I wanted to use last time with the roller from Auto, but I decided to go with the other sketchbook. And as you've seen quickly, I tried at the beginning to do a few drawings with pencil and see how this page takes pencil. And unfortunately, it doesn't bind that well to the paper. There's a lot of transfer from one paper to the other side as I close the sketchbook. And the other thing that I tried and do after the rollerball from Auto, I decided to see how black ink works on it. And I had a few tries in there. Actually, the two drawings that I have in there that were darker lines are done with a rollerball and the Auto roller. And actually, it turned out pretty good. Fun fact, the Auto roller actually almost started to ghost through the page, especially in the parts where I was trying to get darker. And as such, I decided to only draw on one side of the paper with all my drawings in this sketchbook. I don't know who made this sketchbook. I've been having this sketchbook on a shelf for a very long time, more than 10 years. And only recently I rediscovered it and I was like, hey, this is empty. I should start filling it up. I like the paper. It's not a very clean paper. It has a lot of weird lines and marks and dots and spots on it. I guess how the pulp was made and how they pressed it, they didn't filter everything out of it. But the paper is very smooth and seems to take ink pretty well, I would say. It doesn't like pencil, or at least the pencils that I used as test didn't really work very well on it. And they do transfer on the other side. The other thing that I like to do on this sketchbook, as you probably quickly seen it, and if you didn't, you will see me because I will try and use it in this drawing as well. I tried and use white. White seems to stand out pretty nicely on this page, and I'm using one of the white paints, which I know they're called gel pens, but I think it actually has paint in it, because when it dries, you can actually feel the ridges of the lines. So it's not like it gets absorbed by the page, it kind of dries on top of the page like paint would. And I like it, but unfortunately skips a lot. I kind of use that to my advantage. And I try to do like some rays coming out of its mouth and whatever. And I kind of like it. I like the combination of the blue and the white. Maybe it didn't turn out very well on this drawing, but I do like how it turned out on the other drawings. And the other thing that I did, and I'm not sure if made me ruin the drawing a little bit, I used again the Staedtler color pencils that I used last time in my drawing. I'm starting to use a little bit more color into my drawings, and I kind of like it. I'm not really big on color guy. I'm mostly monochrome at max dual chrome. I usually like one ink to use into my drawings, and color to me is kind of new. So I'm kind of diving into these color pencils just like a kid. And like I'm literally I'm using the drawing that I'm doing as a coloring book, and I just, try and combine the colors that I like. Anyway, with the color pencils and that Mitsubishi, I guess, paint pen, I would call it, because it's not really gel pen, at least not in my perspective. Going back to the fountain pen, I love it. Straight down, like hands down. This is one of my favorite fountain pens from Jinhao. It's well constructed, in my opinion, has a decent understated look. And even though I'm not really a guy that likes clips on his pens, I usually like the cleaner look of a fountain pen without the clip. Proof that my own fountain pens that I built, whenever I build them, I always make them without clips. But for whatever reasons, on this pen, especially on that cap, which is not really rounded, is looking gorgeous. I love it. I do like it more than the 62 version. The 68, I think, in my opinion, it's a better version. And I did some search on eBay after I was done with the video, and I realized that they make some 58s that seems to have some abalone shell built into them, like they have different looks and designs to them. Same shape, I assume, same look, I assume, is just different design elements to it, which I actually like. And I will most probably end up buying those pens, even though I personally haven't bought a pen for a very long time, nor do I plan to get one anytime soon. I think I'm reaching at a point where I'm happy with what I have, and I'm gonna reserve myself only for very unique fountain pens that I might find in my perspective, and I'm more interested in starting to draw more with them. I still have enough pens, I think, until the end of the year to still draw with different pens, but probably starting with next year, you might start seeing things repeating in my videos. So I will be focusing a lot more on actual drawings with different items. I have a few interesting things that I have. Interesting for me because I never tried them, and I can't wait to actually share them with you as I get to them. But yeah, back to the fountain pen for today. From my perspective, highly recommended. I don't think you can go wrong with it. It has everything it needs for a very decent price. The nib, I hope all of them are working the way mine is. And if it's anything like the 62, they both work very well and I have no complaints. It's definitely a fountain pen I would gladly stand behind it. This is a beautiful thing. And if you ever wonder if it's worth it and you're not sure, you truly should try it. Try it. You're not going to lose a lot of money, especially if you're North American. And I understand that value, it's subjective. And what seems inexpensive to me might be quite expensive for others, and vice versa, right? So, but if you can, and if you want, and if you're ever being curious about it, highly recommend it. What else? I think I'm getting to the drawing. I hope if it will overlap with, the voice will overlap with what it shows on the screen, you'll start to see the issue that I had with the white paint pen. I can't get a straight line out of it, at least not for too long. And a lot of times I had to actually keep on going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until I actually got a line. Those skipping lines are not done on purpose. Unfortunately, that's how the pen works. It kind of works in my advantage, I guess, because it kind of matches with my style of drawing, but definitely not for everyone. I remember at the beginning the pen was working a little bit better when I was doing the first drawings, but now that the I guess cartridge is kind of a halfway with paint inside of it, it feels like it's getting skippier and skippier. I'm wondering if that paint starts to dry and starts to basically impede the flow of the paint through that rollerball. I don't know. I'm guessing, I guess. However, what I do like about it is that when he actually leaves a line, a white line behind, the line is white and it's not like a fainted, washed out line, like some of the felt tip or brush tip pens do. The other annoying thing is if I'm trying to basically fill an area with white with it, I have to wait for the paint to dry and then I can come on top of it with another layer. So this way I can actually make a solid white patch. Anyway, I guess that's my review of two pens for today. The white Mitsubishi paint pen and one of my favorite pens, I have to say it. Definitely one of my favorite pens. Jinhao 58. And yeah, will most probably buy some of those other models that have the abalone shell on them, or imitation of abalone. I'm not sure if it's real. Funny thing though, abalone shell comes in sheets and they can be cut to size it as you want, especially if you get them from China or Asian countries, you can get it for a very decent prices. Abalone sheets, in essence, they're not really expensive, and it's so you wouldn't drive the pen that much more on the expensive side, unless you make like very detailed intrigue work. And yeah, I mean, the work in itself will be what will drive the price. But if you just slap a few abalone shells and the shapes don't matter, I think that's how they manage to keep the prices so low. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm sorry, I'm rambling. I'll stop here. Beautiful pen. Interesting drawing. Love the paper. I'll probably keep on drawing on it for a while and share that with you. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you liked it. And I guess I'll see you next time. I wish you nothing but the best and a wonderful day or night, whatever you are. Take care. Bye.